Hello my friends out there in YouTube land. This is Have a Knife Day, and I'm coming at you with another video on these wonderful Rough Rider knives. Been a fan of these since I've gotten my hands on the first couple, and please excuse the background noise. Sorry about that. I live right next to an airport, so planes take off and land here all day long, and in fact, we got a little piece of history right next door to us, as they actually fly the Wright brothers Model B right out of this airport, and they'll fly it around a couple times a month, just to keep all the seals lubricated and things. So it's kind of a windy day too, so I apologize for any wind noise that you might pick up. But what you see before you is the Rough Rider Classic Carbon Canoe in the foreground, and in the background we have the Rough Rider Glow Series canoe. And I've been intrigued by the differences in these two models. If you're not an aficionado of the pattern itself, you might not be able to notice a lot of the differences, but if you'll stay with me, I'll kind of walk you through them. So first of all, you'll notice we have the slant R on the bolster here. This is the Classic Carbon series in the foreground, like I said, and obviously we got the difference in the two shield types. And this model here does not have the slant R. It does have the lined bolsters, but they're not slant R. You'll also notice on the nail nick that you've got the long pull nail nick here with the just single nail nick back here. Also, if you were to view these from the top view, you'll notice that the blade stock on this model is immensely thicker than the blade stock on this model. Hope you can get that in the view that you have. Sorry, I'm a little off center here. And then obviously, while we're speaking of that, and I've got them sideways here, you can see there's quite a bit of difference in the widths of these two models for pocket carry. And you probably noticed as I opened them that the Classic Carbon version has the half stops on the pulls, very pronounced, whereas the Glow series is just a slip joint all the way. Which one do I prefer? Well, I actually prefer both of them. There's things that I like about both of the models. I'm a huge fan of the long pull nail nicks versus the single nail neck, and I also like the half stops that come in the Classic Carbon. The edge on this one, another plane taking off. Again, I apologize about that. I haven't been able to work out anything with the FAA to get them to stop takeoffs while I'm shooting my videos. So maybe that's later to come. But as I was saying, I do prefer the long pull nail neck. I like the half stops that come with the Classic Carbon. I like the steel with the Classic Carbon, but I also like the stainless. I feel that the stainless, while being a 440A stainless, it's still a very good for my use steel. But I do like the thinness and that makes this pocket friendly. However, I do want to show you, many of you have seen this style of knife sheath. I actually designed this knife sheath probably 15 years ago, and I had the idea in my head, and I contacted a friend of mine who lives in Michigan. His name's Rick Garcia, who was a leathersmith, and told him about the idea that I had, kind of drew it out on paper. He did a mock-up on some thin leather and sent it to me and said, "Is this what you're thinking of?" And I said, "Absolutely." And then he crafted this fine leather basket weave version and sent it to me, just out of the kindness of his heart, which I thought was really nice. Not 6 months later, I seen this exact design was now for sale in the Case catalogs with Case's logo on it. Coincidence? Maybe. I like to think that I was the inspiration for their design, but they certainly haven't compensated me in any way for it. But this sheath was actually designed to hold a mid-folding hunter by Case, but it very much holds this wider canoe really well. So that's an option that I have for carry. You know, when I'm going to take out my classic carbon, but I much prefer to carry this Glow series in my pocket. So if you're a canoe pattern collector, which it looks like I may end up going that way and starting a small collection of canoe patterns, you'll want to check out the differences of both of these different styles that they offer, and realize the value in both of them. And Rough Rider makes a wonderful knife. I highly recommend them. If you're familiar at all with Rough Rider, then you're familiar with the very affordable price point. And in regards to the USA versus Chinese made knife, that debate holds different thoughts, schools of thought for everybody. But for me, there's no problem. Sackett68 said, "I'm not going to lose any sleep over the fact that these were not made in the U.S." And I wholeheartedly agree. I would have, I'm not going to lose any sleep at night not knowing that my knife was made in the USA. I've had Case canoes in the past, and they're fine knives. Many of the quality issues that people speak of in regards to fit and finish, if I were to look long enough at some of my Case knives, I can find these same issues at 4 or 5 times the price. So would I rather have one nice Case knife or 5 Rough Rider knives? I'm gonna go with 5 Rough Rider knives. But I having said that, I would also garner that by saying that I have not given up all of my Case knives yet either. So I think it's for each man to decide, and for me, I'm enjoying these Rough Rider knives. I don't have a lot of disposable income to put down for Case knives and some of the other more expensive brands. I'd love to have a Shatton Morgan. I'd love to have a Queen Cutlery. I'd really love to have a Great Eastern Cutlery knife. Regrettably, my financial situation right now does not allow me to purchase any of these. And these Rough Rider knives are traditional knife patterns that feed my craving to have nice knives in my collection and yet not spend a bundle of money. So I really appreciate you watching. I'm trying to do as many videos as I can. I just don't have a lot of extra spare time, so I'm gonna probably be doing good to do one a week, but I'm gonna focus on these Rough Rider knives for a while. If you've never tried a Rough Rider knife, then I think you should. And if you have Rough Rider knives, then you already know what I'm talking about. This has been Have a Knife Day, and I do hope that you all have a knife day. Thanks for watching.